In the year 369, in the month of April, Huan Wen, the highest military commander of the Eastern Jin dynasty, led troops to invade the state of Yan. The Jin army achieved successive victories, unstoppable in its momentum. By July, the vanguard of the Jin army had approached the capital city of Yan, Yi City, causing great shock among the Yan court and the people. The emperor of Yan, Morongwei, sent emissaries to seek help from the state of Qin, promising to cede the land west of Hulao, now Simishen town, Shishir, Xingyang, Henan, to Qin. The officials and ministers of the state of Qin all regarded the powerful neighboring state of Yan as an enemy, thus they opposed aiding Yan. At this time, Wang Meng secretly said to Fu Jian, although the state of Yan is formidable, its ruler, Morong Ping, is no match for Huan Wen. If Huan Wen occupies Shandong, stations troops in Luoyang, gathers surrendered soldiers from Yuzhou and Jizhou, seizes grain from Bingzhou and Yuzhou, and conducts military exercises around Luoyang, Shaoshan and Mianqi areas, then your majesty's great cause will be in jeopardy. We should first send troops to jointly repel the Jin army with Yan, and then take advantage of Yan's decline to seize it. This is the strategy of aiding first, seizing later. Otherwise, if Huan Wen captures Yan and disrupts the military balance in the Central Plains region, then Qin's great cause will be lost. Fu Jian agreed and immediately sent troops to aid Yan. At this time, Morong Chue, who had been stripped of power by Morong Ping, had to actively request to return to power, making a final attempt for the state of Yan. Morong Chue said to his nephew, Emperor Morongwei, please let me fight one battle. If I lose, you all should flee, there's still time. Despite their reluctance, due to the dire situation, Morongwei and Morong Ping had no choice but to approve. Morong Chue took advantage of the opportunity to employ former subordinates and fought desperately, luckily holding off the Jin army's advance. He managed to halt the relentless assault of the Jin army at Fangtu, a strategic military position 80 li away from the capital city of Yan, Yi City. Subsequently, several of Huan Wen's subordinate generals suffered defeats in confrontations. Upon hearing that reinforcements from the state of Qin were on their way, Huan Wen, who always had a tendency to worry, found his confidence and enthusiasm for the northern campaign waning. He felt uncertain about engaging in a decisive battle with Morong Chue, and considering the future difficulties of supplying his army over long distances, he decided to retreat with his entire force while provisions were still relatively plentiful. Huan Wen ordered the burning of warships and abandoned supplies and armor, leading his troops to retreat via land. Morong Chue commanded Morong De to lead 4,000 elite cavalry to take another route and lay ambushes, launching random attacks on the retreating Jin army. Morong Chue personally led 8,000 cavalry to follow at a certain distance behind Huan Wen's army without pursuing them. Huan Wen, known for his cautious approach, arranged elite troops to guard the rear and prevent the Yan army from pursuing the Jin army. A few days later, although Huan Wen remained vigilant against the pursuing Yan army, the majority of his troops relaxed their previous tension, eager to return home, and quickened their pace. Morong Chue, trailing behind Huan Wen's army, keenly noticed this change and said to his generals, "Now we can pursue the Jin army." He ordered his generals to hasten their advance and caught up with the Jin army in Xiangyi County. Suddenly, Yan cavalry appeared from behind, terrifying the Jin soldiers who, unable to react in time, instinctively continued fleeing southwards. Unfortunately, these panicked Jin soldiers once again stumbled into the ambush set by Morongde's 4,000 elite cavalry. In the ensuing battle, 30,000 Jin soldiers were killed. Adding to their misfortune, those who had just escaped the ambush of the Yan army were intercepted by the Qin army, who had come to aid the Yan army, in Qiao County. Over 10,000 soldiers died or were wounded, leaving Huan Wen in a desperate retreat. With this, Huan Wen's northern expedition ended in failure. Although the state of Yan primarily relied on Morong Chue to defeat Huan Wen's Jin army, the Qin army only appeared when the Jin army was defeated and fleeing, taking advantage of the situation. However, in the early stages of the war, Emperor Morongwei of Yan earnestly requested Qin's military aid, offering territory as a condition. However, after the war, Emperor Murongwei reneged on the agreement and refused to cede land to Qin. This gave Qin the pretext to attack Yan. This was exactly what Wang Meng wanted. If you don't voluntarily give it up, I'll take it myself. In the defense battle of the capital city Yi in the state of Yan, Prince Wu Murongchui turned the tide of defeat into victory, earning great renown. However, within the court of Yan, Murongchui's suppressed prestige surged again, causing jealousy and hatred from Murongping, the leader of the court ministers, towards Murongchui. Together with the Empress Dowager Kazuhun, they plotted to kill Murongchui. Fortunately, Murongchui received the news in advance. Under the pretext of going hunting, he fled with his family from the capital city of Yan, intending to seek temporary refuge in the former capital, Longqing. Unexpectedly, they were betrayed by Murongchui's youngest son, Muronglin, who informed the Emperor of Yan of their plans. Forced to change their plans hastily, Murongchui and his party fled to the state of Qin. Upon learning of Murongchui's defection to the state of Qin, King Fujian of Qin was extremely excited and personally went to the outskirts of the capital to give him a grand welcome. Fujian lavished praise upon Murongchui and treated his sons with care and favor. Even the people of Qin, who had heard of the fame of Murongchui and his sons, held them in high regard, while many celebrated the fact that the state of Qin had gained the defection of Prince Wu of Yan, Murongchui. There was one person who felt deeply unsettled, the Prime Minister of Qin, Wang Meng. Wang Meng harbored suspicions towards Murongchui. He knew that Murongchui harbored grand ambitions, possessed considerable personal charisma, and held a distinguished status, making him a highly influential leader in the Central Plains region. Moreover, Murongchui was absolutely loyal to his family's Xianbei Murong dynasty. He would not permanently betray the proud Murong lineage simply because he was temporarily ostracized from the Yan court. Wang Meng said to Fujian, Murongchui and his son are like dragons and tigers, not people that can be easily controlled. If they seize the opportunity in the future, it will be impossible to restrain them. It's better to get rid of them sooner rather than later. However, Fujian refused. Wang Meng, feeling helpless and regretful, faced such a formidable opponent in Murongchui. He found Fujian, the king of Qin whom he had to support, too compassionate and immature. Therefore, in order to protect Fujian and the long-term interests of the Qin dynasty, Wang Meng decided, at the expense of his own reputation, to devise an immoral conspiracy. This is known as the famous Gold Dagger Plan in Chinese history. Wang Meng possessed extraordinary cognitive abilities and talents in assisting monarchs in founding and governing a country. Guided by the principle of achieving great things without being bound by trivial matters, Wang Meng had to disregard the lives and interests of Murongchui and his son in order to achieve the grand goal of unifying the Central Plains region under the Qin dynasty of King Fujian. Soon enough, an opportunity presented itself. In the year 370 AD, the Qin dynasty, under the command of Wang Meng, launched a campaign to conquer the state of Yan. Before the expedition, Wang Meng personally requested from Fujian, the king of Qin, that Murongling, the eldest son of Murongchui, be appointed as a guide and serve as an aide. Then, on the eve of the expedition, Wang Meng suddenly visited Murongchui. As a favorite courtier of King Fujian and the prime minister of the court, Murongchui dared not neglect him. He hosted a grand banquet to see off Wang Meng on his expedition. The two greatest military and political figures of that era exchanged toasts and expressed mutual respect. As they parted ways, Wang Meng calmly said to Murongchui, "Now that we are far apart, what can you give me as a gift? So that I may see things and think of you." Murongchui, a sentimental person, although clever, did not doubt Wang Meng's ulterior motives at this time. He casually unfastened his golden dagger from his waist and presented it to Wang Meng. After obtaining Murongchui's golden dagger, Wang Meng immediately led the troops out of the Qin capital, Chang'an. As the army was nearing Luoyang, Wang Meng handed Murongchui's golden dagger to Jin Shi, a trusted confidant of Murongchui who had already been bribed by Wang Meng. He instructed Jin Shi to deliver a forged message to Murongling. "The reason why we, father and son, sought refuge here is solely to avoid disaster." However, Wang Meng's heart is narrow-minded, and he has repeatedly tried to undermine us. While Fu Jian appears outwardly courteous to us, his true intentions are hard to gauge. It is estimated that we, father and son, are still likely to meet our demise. Moreover, I recently heard that the Emperor of Yan has regretted our departure. I am already on the path of escape, so when will you leave? Due to the urgency of the situation, there is no time to write a letter, so I have sent someone to convey this message orally, with the golden dagger as proof. Upon hearing the forged message purportedly from his father, Morong Ling was thunderstruck. The situation was too sudden, and he didn't know what to do. Considering that Yan was ultimately the result of his ancestors' hard work, his father surely wouldn't bear to see it perish. Morong Ling decided to follow his father back to Yan. Thus, under the pretext of going hunting, Morong Ling returned to former Yan. Wang Meng's conspiracy was gradually becoming a reality, and the climax was fast approaching. When Wang Meng transmitted the news of Morong Ling's defection back to Chang'an, Morong Chui was shocked and panicked. Unable to explain himself and with no time for defense, he had no choice but to flee. However, all of this was part of Wang Meng's design, and Morong Chui's actions were under his surveillance, exactly as he desired. What Wang Meng didn't anticipate was that when Morong Chui was caught by pursuers and brought back to Chang'an, Fu Jian did not blame him. On the contrary, he comforted him, saying, "You joined us due to internal conflicts within your family and court, seeking refuge with me." A wise man does not forget his roots and still yearns for his homeland. This is each person's own aspiration and not worthy of deep reproach. However, the state of Yan is on the brink of destruction, and it is not something Morong Ling can save. It's just regrettable that he walked into the tiger's den in vain. Moreover, the sins of fathers and sons should not be passed down. Why should you fear and end up in such a sorry state? Every step of the gold dagger plan was successful, but its outcome was not what Wang Meng desired. Fu Jian's friendly attitude towards Morong Chui puzzled and worried Wang Meng.